was built to last. When the webs are weaving, I could change the past. I'm achieving.
Well, I did a scan on this truck. It's been dying on the road. Ones I'm mainly concerned about here are the PCM here coming on with a service engine soon light, P0191 and a P1237. Now there are a lot of things that could be causing this, but simple diagnostic, description is a fuel rail pressure range performance or the fuel pump secondary circuit malfunction. Well, I'm going to go ahead and change the fuel filter in this girl anyway, just to make sure, but I'm kind of starting to lean a little bit more towards there being an electronic malfunction, sorry. Most likely something to do with the fuel pump driver module, but we'll take a look at this fuel filter. This video isn't about changing the fuel filter, the location, and how to remove it and replace it. This is more about the fuel pump driver, but just wanted to show you that it doesn't hurt to at least do some of the basics first. I mean, this fuel filter did its job. The dirt was on the dirty side of the filter, and no dirty fuel ran out of the clean side of the filter. But as we carry on, you'll see as this video progresses, this wasn't the repair, but it sure didn't help, or sure didn't hurt, I should say, to change it anyway. You can see how we got an intermittent problem here. Desired, but our fuel pressure's falling off. Still runs, but it's getting worse. Sometimes it would cut back in, sometimes it wouldn't. In this case here in the shop, she's starting to chug a bit. Oh, and it's gone. So I'm gonna go after that fuel pump driver, take a look and see if I can get it off, see how corroded it is. See what we can find. Try cranking it here. Nope. No go. So if you just look closer enough right here, kind of up by the spare tire, I don't know if you can see it there, there's a plug. There you are. That's the fuel pump driver module. So I got to remove the spare tire. There's a couple bolts that hold it in place, and we'll see what we find. Down she comes. And here you can see the driver starting to get visible. All right, this is the piece that we're after right here. It's mounted with a couple 5/16 or 8mm bolts. Sometimes they can be a real bugger to get out, but this is what we're after. I'll pull this off. There we go. All right. Usually once they crack loose, they will come. It's getting that first little bit that's the important part. Lots of corrosion by the looks of it. All right, there it is. Oh yeah, probably a real good chance that I nailed this one. This will be the problem. Well, we'll get things cleaned up there, install the new one, and see what we got for pressures and performance. All right, not sure if you can see this in the film or not, but you can actually see it's kind of warped. There's actually even a small crack right there where the unit here, this tab is breaking away, or it's been separating. Oh, pretty rough shape. 2008 Ford F150. Only got about 125,000 K on her, but aluminum, salt, moisture, they don't get along too well. Just knock some of the corrosion off. You can actually see there's a hole right through the whole unit. I'm gonna bust this thing apart and just take a look inside. Yeah, just look at the corrosion inside this thing. For a little electronic circuit board, it's no wonder that it would fail. It's actually kind of amazing that it worked at all. It's a good idea to take a look at your wiring harness, connector and whatnot while you're up in here doing this job. Sometimes if it gets severely corroded, you know, this connection can be bad. And it would be the time to basically cut this off and then put a wiring harness kit in. But in my case, this looks good. I'm just gonna leave it, get the new module installed, and go from there. But it is something to look for if you're in here anyway. All right, we got the new module here. Much better than the old one did. And we will get it installed and see how this goes. This particular one came with some rubber bushings that I put in behind the unit to keep it at the back of it from contacting the metal plate. I would assume that's their idea to prevent this new one from corroding and malfunctioning the same as the other one, as the old one, the original one did. Anyway, we'll get this put on and see what happens. All right, we got the new module installed, and actually without even turning it over yet, you can see my fuel pump pressure has already come up from what it was. So let's give this a try. I'd say we got success. All right, so all I got left to do is just put the spare tire back up underneath where it belongs, and we'll call this job done. Anyway, hope this video helps. Any of you guys got some questions, leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer anything I can. Just keep in mind, you got an F-150 that don't run or it's dying on the road, it's not always necessarily going to be the fuel pump if it's fuel related. It's got this fuel pump driver mounted up on the frame. It can give you a lot of trouble. It's definitely a go-to take a look at it. I mentioned earlier before, I did change the fuel filter as well. The location is just behind the transfer case here, kind of off to the side, on the driver's side frame of the truck. Pretty easy to change. I did that anyway. Of course, it didn't fix the problem, but it was a good thing to do at the same time. I realize not everybody's gonna have a hoist to work on, but in this case, I do. This is a video I made for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, leave me a comment. I'd like to hear from you. Thanks, guys.